Fifth graders, today we are going to make a patterned scarf, and just for scale I have some scissors sitting next to it so you can see just how large this is. This is 9 inches by 24 inches long, so it is very big today. I am going to be using smaller paper for our demonstration. So since it's winter time, I thought it would be really fun to make something wintry. And we are going to practice the art principle of pattern using the elements shape, line, and color. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw some knitting needles. And if you don't know what a knitting needle is, it's basically a long metal stick with a pointy end on it. So I'm going to draw kind of a V shape up to the middle, a very, very skinny V shape. And I'm going to draw one matching it on the other side. Now when you knit, you have a bunch of yarn that is looped around those needles. So I'm going to draw a wavy line that touches the bottom of the knitting needle, and I'm going to do that on the other end as well. So then I want to draw the bottom of it, so I'm going to draw however many bumps I have here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bumps. So I'm going to try to have that many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Try to leave a little room at the bottom because it might be fun to have some tassels if you want. So I'm going to draw kind of a slow wavy line to match the top waves to the bottom waves. And that's just because scarves are wiggly, so we might as well make it a wiggly scarf. Next, I want you to divide your space into maybe 6, 7, or 8 different spaces. And each one of those spaces is going to have a different pattern. We are not going to hand draw the patterns in, because what we are going to do is we are going to paint them in freestyle. I don't want you to have too much of a plan, I just kind of want you to go with it. Oops, and I forgot to connect this piece to this piece over here. So this is the base drawing for what we are going to paint later. Some things to just keep in mind for patterns are something that repeats. So you can either repeat a line, a shape, a color, or some combination of all of them. So I want you to try to keep in mind to keep it simple. So if you're going to do a zigzag, do a very slow zigzag line. Okay, I don't want to see any sloppy. That is going to be really hard to paint, and it's going to look really messy and unplanned. So you want to make sure it looks purposeful. You could do a double zigzag to kind of make a stripe by painting another one. Right now I'm just drawing it so that you can see ideas of what you could do. You could also do circles. Again, trying to keep it simple. You could do vertical lines. You could have horizontal lines, diagonal lines. One of my favorites to do is a pattern that mixes horizontal and vertical lines. I call them 11s and equals. Okay, there's the 11, there's the equals. And you just kind of alternate them, and then I would alternate it this way as well. So I would do that one's one of my favorites. You could do an argyle pattern. Argyle is a way of knitting a pattern into a piece of clothing like a sweater, and it's usually kind of X's, and then it's got additional stitching. You might see that one on my sample. So again, it's very simple lines. There's nothing too detailed about it. I don't want you to do tiny little things, because when you paint them, they're just going to look messy, and you're going to lose some of that detail. So it's okay if you want to choose to do a heart. Try to keep them really big. If you do a star, it's fine, but again, big, and you're going to end up painting the full thing in. So that's just for ideas for patterns. Again, repeating lines, shapes, and colors.